Listen, now you got to get a good jump. All right? You got a straight shot, bro. Look at it. Say, hey, guess what? I'm done. I'll see you guys at the end. All right? Hard and smart, buddy. Hard and smart.
In motocross, there are a few riders that give the next generation a reason to believe. But for others, the cost of racing outweighs their salary. In a small industry, is their passion distracting them from reality?
You've got these kids in our sport that have given up their lives from such a young age, and it really pushes you in a position where it's all or nothing. In very few situations, it works out.
Oh my goodness! Ryder goes way off the motorcycle.
Did not ever think that on a certain date in 2009, I was gonna be falling from the sky, possibly have my foot amputated. You don't ever think of that.
Tommy Hahn, a replacement rider, has now moved into the #1 ride.
After the last couple of years and the struggle and just the unhappiness, it ain't worth it.
Just because you think you have a future doesn't mean you do. Go out and perform. The guys that obviously win get paid, so if you win races, you get paid.
Oh, and Grant goes down hard!
My husband risks his life, not even just race day, it's every day. And some of these sponsors don't assume the same risk when they hire you. And the second you get hurt, they're done.
This season, we will take our eyes off the outdoor championship points battle and focus on the motocross life, a 6-episode series that will show the best and worst this sport delivers.
And we're off and into turn #1.
Life throws you all these curveballs, and you gotta step up and swing.
Come on,
This year, we're not really talking about the championship. We're talking about how you guys became racers, you know, the best guys in the world. Almost every story has family problems, separation problems, agent problems, money problems. Does it help to talk about it, or?
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like, the more I talk about it, the more I want to go punch a hole in the wall, just because it makes me that angry.
For riders like Chad Reed, Ryan Villopoto, James Stewart, and Ryan Dungey, motocross and supercross provide an income that can sustain their families if they were seriously injured or when they retire. But for the riders just behind them, body and education have been mortgaged for a dream that may not materialize.
Big crash off the bike in the whoop section. Worst one we've seen all day.
In this episode, we will look at some of the riders whose careers are at stake during the 2012 outdoor season.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you're in 10th place in the most prestigious series for motocross that there is, and you still don't know, if you're gonna have a job or what you're gonna do from year to year. Definitely the worst part and the most stressful part of being a racer.
Health insurance for a motocross rider costs around $6,000 a year. Employing a practice bike mechanic and trainer can cost between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. A mortgage for a house in California near the race teams, and a mortgage for a house in Florida where the humidity is best for training, adds many more thousands to the yearly budget. If Kyle Chisholm makes $100,000 a year, he might have half the budget that a top rider uses in preparation for a season.
You have those top guys that make millions of dollars, and then the guys that are right behind them are making a tenth of what they make, and then even some people like myself that are with those guys are sometimes not making hardly anything, and we're risking our lives. And you know how much it is to go to the hospital and have a surgery or anything. Just this past year, before I started riding for Jeff Ward and those guys, we were paying for a wedding to celebrate, the biggest day of our lives. When I was unemployed, I had no ride, I had no job or anything.
Do you know what you're doing next year?
No, don't know yet.
Starting a family is the next personal goal for Kyle Chisholm and his wife, Brittany. But Kyle must secure his future first. Josh Grant is another rider whose motocross future is unknown, and his worst year as a pro came last year, just months after his son Wyatt was born.
Have a baby, have 2 ACL replacements, sitting on the couch,
nothing's going on, you're just like, all right, what is next? Because we can ask any racer. They don't know what's next. Nobody does.
Like Josh Grant, Tommy Hahn nearly gave up racing before the 2012 season. Hahn was picked up by factory Honda after Trey Canard broke his back in Supercross. Although Honda is one of the most prestigious race teams in the industry, Hahn is only paid for a race if he finishes in the top 10.
I would much rather ride for free on a good bike, get good results. What you're doing is setting yourself up to get a decent ride again. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's my whole goal all year. I'm not the young kid in the sport anymore. This is my 8th year being professional. It's basically to get off the pot time.
Tommy Hahn well back right now, rider number 32.
On the way you want to start out the 2012 campaign.
Say I struggle and fight and just get in the top 10 or something like that. That's it. That's it. You'll never see me racing again.
After finishing 14th at round 1, Hahn rebounded and finished 7th at round 2 in Texas. Still, he will have to be in the top 5 if he wants to receive a decent salary for the coming years.
I've always admired his skill on a dirt bike. It's unreal. I've looked up to it my whole life, and I think that's the only reason I'm racing.
So how does it feel when he says, hey, I'm thinking of hanging this up?
It kills me inside.
Bottom line is, times are different. There ain't no money in it anymore. I'm definitely gonna have to go get a job regardless of how many more years I race. And why struggle, lose my house, and all this stuff that I've worked for, just try and hold on to a dream for a little bit while longer that you know is gonna be ending anyway? I need to be up there fighting for that top 5 in the podium spots every race. It's exactly what I have to do if I wanna keep racing.
Josh Grant, Tommy Hahn, and Kyle Chisholm have all been elite riders in the sport at some point in their lives. But due to personal failures or structural systems in the industry, their dream of a successful motocross career is hanging in the balance.
Growing up, same age as like Mike Lessie and Davey Millsaps, grew up racing with those guys. Every year, we're all kind of neck and neck, all top 3, swapping positions. The year that I moved up to the A class, I had a pretty big crash right before the beginning of the year. Compound fractured my humerus. I was out for about 5 or 6 months.
Kyle Chisholm's injury sent him into the pro ranks on a satellite team. His amateur rivals Davey Millsaps and Mike Alessi were both drafted by elite factory teams and continued to receive factory contracts for the next 6 years. In his 8 years as a pro, Chisholm has never ridden on a factory team.
I was behind the 8 ball right from the beginning. From a financial standpoint, you don't have the money to hire the best trainers or to have your own track. From the equipment side, they have the best equipment. They have the best guys. The factory's gonna hire the best technicians.
On top of the limited resources and personnel, riding for a satellite team brings constant instability. Due to the poor economy and high costs of racing, the future of a satellite team is often in question from year to year, making multi-year contracts impossible.
A few riders to a few teams are just like too disposable almost. You're in and out, developing a bike and getting used to a bike, and then as soon as you get comfortable on it, you're going to another manufacturer, another team. You know, it's tough, and that's what I've been faced with my whole career. Hoping to do good enough to land on a solid program for a couple years. That's the ultimate goal.
Tommy Hahn did move on to an elite race team after his dynamic amateur career. But after he won a 450 Outdoor National in 2009, Hahn's results have not improved.
I want people to be like, okay, you know, Tommy Hahn can still do it. You know, he's got his crap together now, and he wants it.
His first 450 national win ever. Say hello to Mr. Tommy Hahn!
That was when the economy hit really hard. I didn't know who I was riding for till the end of November and didn't get on a bike until December, so I never quite got that level back.
Following his win in 2009, Tommy's career began to resemble Kyle Chisholm's. In the past 4 years, Hahn has ridden 4 different bikes on 4 different teams.
I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to go back to my roots. I wanted to go back to the basics. And Honda is what I knew.
Drag racing up the hill. Tommy Hahn on the outside.
Hahn spent his own money, his friend's money, and is currently racing without a salary in order to be on a Honda. The plan seemed to be working until a rock shot off the back of a rider's bike and broke his hand during the first moto at Colorado.
That's life. What do you do? It pissed me off and made me want to work harder.
It was only a year ago that Josh Grant was in a similar situation to Tommy Hahn. Grant rode for Honda in hopes of earning a multi-year contract, but he would suffer 2 ACL surgeries in one season.
Everybody watched Josh struggle on the track, but nobody knew that his personal struggles were 10 times harder. Has Josh told you any details of the things he went through with his mom?
No.
Well, I think he's the one that should say it, but she wiped everything out. She was in charge of finances, whatever. So 4 months after we had Wyatt, we had nothing.
I don't even know what to say. Hurts.
How does something like that even happen?
I have a theory on all of this.
I'd like to hear it.
I think it starts with day one when a mom and a dad are choosing a sport or extracurricular activity for their son. I mean, really, do mom and dad have enough money to go buy a motorcycle, boots, helmet, gear, gloves? Do they have the right transportation to take all that gear to the nearest track, which is probably 30, 40 minutes away? The sport isn't as accessible or even affordable. Mom and dad could go to Toys R Us to get a baseball bat, a glove, a football, a basketball for less than the pair of boots, and they have 3 options for their kids to go play in the backyard. And you know what? Education also. All those other sports, you can get a scholarship and you can further your education because you're a good athlete. But motocross, you have to drop out of school to be successful. And then you get hurt 4 years later and you don't even have a high school education. That, I think, is why motocross will always struggle.
Well, then why do you guys keep doing this?
You keep going because you don't really have any other choice. I fear the day that Wyatt tells me he wants to race a motorcycle.
Are there other athletes in this sport and motocross that have been in the same situation Josh is in?
I've heard of quite a few. To me, that has to do with the sport being so expensive and parents sacrificing every last dollar and every ounce of time, that when their kids do make it, they have this sense of entitlement. Well, I sacrificed everything I had for you, now where's mine? Give me mine back. That's why I don't want Wyatt to race, because I don't want this sport to tear the family that I've built apart.
The last 2 years have been the most difficult and rewarding in Josh Grant's life. At the same time his 2-year-old son Wyatt was born, he discovered that his mom had liquidated all his resources.
She kept telling us that we had a savings, and we knew at some point with a baby and injuries that we were gonna have to fall back on that savings. So forget the watches, the motorhome. We were really relying on the savings. And when we found out that that was gone, that was hard.
I should have been more on it. I mean, I went to 9th grade, that was it. I mean, I dropped out and I didn't go to school. I wanted to race. It wasn't like I was worried about money management. The worst part is it's all about trust, and who wouldn't trust their mom?
10, last 10, come on. You got it, you got it, you got it, come on. 9.
Josh Grant was not a championship contender in motocross or supercross this season. When he was told by his current team that they would not be re-signing him, Josh began negotiations with Joe Gibbs Racing, the team where he had his most successful year as a pro.
Jeremy and Coy said, hey, we want to see the old Josh again. We want to see the speed. I went, okay, I got to go prove myself again. It happened to be the weekend of Washougal.
Unless he into the #1 ride. Here comes Grant in 2. He's dropping the hammer. Oh,
goes down hard. Tough break for the 33 of Grant.
I think I held my breath for like 5 minutes. I could see that he got up and he kept racing. I didn't care what place he got at that point, but just for him to get up and keep going, that was such a step in the right direction.
Coming into Southwick, Massachusetts, Kyle Chisholm and Tommy Hahn also need a deal for next year. After missing 8 motos due to a broken hand, Hahn has 8 motos left to prove he is worthy of a factory contract.
I have to be consistent the rest of the year in every moto that I race. But if I can't figure it out, I can't figure it out. That's it.
Hey, dude, we'll see you down there. Good luck.
Kyle Chisholm's average finish so far this season is 13th, a number he must improve if he's going to acquire a multi-year deal or a contract with a factory race team.
It's definitely stressful. You have to think about there's the one aspect of your career in racing and the other aspect of providing for my wife, and no kids yet, but someday in the future.
Before the 2010 and 2012 seasons, Chisholm had no offers to race and considered retiring. In both situations, it was his father, Gary, that stepped in to keep Kyle's career alive.
I have that pride, winning Bercy last year with my dad as my mechanic. Definitely not the way I want my dad to be at the race. All of the years of hard work we put in since I was a kid, you'd like to be able to repay him with just flying him there to enjoy it, not work.
Of the 40 riders on the gate at Southwick, only 5 have a contract for the coming year. The fate of everyone else will be decided in the next 3 rounds.
There's a few guys that are around me right now, like Brock Tickle and Tyler Rattray, Josh Grant. We're all neck and neck every week. It's up to me to go out there and do good and earn a spot somewhere.
Every racer would be like, a championship would change everything. For me, it's getting the weight off her back.
He needs to give himself that second chance. Say, okay, maybe I did mess up. Maybe I made some bad decisions, but I need to go all out on this.
And we are off. Into turn number 1 they go. 800 of Mike Alessi.
And Hahn moving up. Hahn looking to repeat that first moto.
Nicoletti, Smith, and Chisholm by the top 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys right there in front of him. Tommy Hahn trying to make the pass, and he does. And Tommy Hahn will not let go.
I've been trying to train myself, just telling myself that that guy's not a better rider than you. It's dirt bikes.
Tommy Hahn, he is really pulling the trigger here.
He might be able to come up there and give Mike Alessi something.
Tommy Hahn goes down in the S-turns.
Tommy Hahn coming off the racetrack, and Hahn's bike lays lifeless on the side of the racetrack.
Kyle Chisholm, rider 11, is 13th, and Josh Grant is 14th.
He's going to get him. He was 4 seconds faster than Kyle that lap. Kyle can't even hang on.
Here comes the 33.
Josh Grant makes the pass.
Come on, go.
There's rumors going around that they've hired another rider. It would be great to stay there, but I'm kind of faced with the reality that it's a good possibility that I may not be there next year. I don't want to think about not having a ride and not having a job, but it is a reality.
If you do it on your own, do you think your dad will drop everything and do it with you again?
Yeah, I'd fully believe that he would.
As of November 2012, Kyle Chisholm does not have a contract. 5 days after Southwick, Tommy Hahn crashed at a practice track near his home in Decatur, Texas. Recovering from a broken T3 vertebrae and a dislocated shoulder, his future is also unknown.
This is like the most judgmental sport in the world, so I'm sure it's gonna be said, but they're right. I couldn't get it together for whatever reason. That's it.
Josh Grant's results continued to improve after Southwick. His best finish was 3rd overall at Steel City, and he was awarded a deal with Joe Gibbs Racing for 2013.
What's up? Where's Mama?
Dude, you're a big boy.
Things have definitely gotten a lot better. This is the first full season that I've made it through healthy in 3 years. Elbows up. Okay.
Something that I've struggled with throughout this is if a man can't trust his mom, who can he trust? Why would you trust another female? I've just done everything I can for Josh to know that he can trust me and that I am going to be here.
Motocross does not guarantee a financial future. It may take your health at any moment, and it will confine your options to the sport itself. But because of all those things, you will discover your friends. A gift for those willing to partake. Next time on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors.
1.5 weeks away from the biggest race of your life. Don't screw it up.
How much does it cost a family to arrive at this stage? Our gaze into the motocross life will turn to one of the most legendary teams in amateur racing, the Millsaps family.
She earns the trophy as much as what he did. She got him there, and he performed for her.
If your bone's not sticking out of your skin, it's not broken, then you need to finish the moto. That's how she always was.
Again, lost your damn mind. 25, 38. Oh yeah, that's keeping you close.
A lot of damage has been done.
I lost my kid. I didn't picture it like that. That wasn't how this was supposed to end.
Last week, we took a look into the lives of Tommy Hahn, Kyle Chisholm, and Josh Grant. 3 riders whose financial struggles have them considering retirement yearly. The love of racing that has kept them coming back was formed in a world where financial burdens were silently carried by their parents. Keeping a top amateur rider on the racetrack cost around $100,000 a year. In order to offset this cost, one parent often stays home to work, while the other homeschools their child on the road. It is a lifestyle of separation and sacrifice, everything staked on the performance of a child.
Again, lost your damn mind. 25, 38. Oh yeah, that's keeping you close.
This week, we look into the lives of Davey Millsaps and his mother, Colleen. They're one of the most successful teams in the history of amateur racing, and their relationship sheds light on the battles of motocross parent and professional rider.
If your bone's not sticking out of your skin, it's not broken, or anything in that line, then you need to finish the moto. That's how she always was, and that's how she's always gonna be.
Are you at a loss for words, or is there so much to say you don't know where to start?
Once you say it, it's out. It's there. You can't take those back. That's why I don't say much now. You might mean it one way, and they take it a completely different way.
What do you wish you would have done different?
I'd like to say I wouldn't have let him get on that PW50.
Hi, guys. Dave, you want to ride yours? Yeah. All right.
2012 is a contract year for Davey, and after finishing a career best second in Supercross, he began training for the 2012 outdoor season, hoping to silence criticisms of his fitness and drive.
We're reading a Pulp MX thing from Steve Mathis. It's been long whispered in the pits that Millsaps is not in the shape that one needs to be in to compete for wins and championships, and that he doesn't have the commitment to be the best that so many others have.
Millsaps a little far back right now. He has got some work to do.
What I believe to be true is that Davey was burnt out from the grind of being a professional motocross racer. Think about it. We've been reading about this kid from Cairo, Georgia since he was on 80s.
Davey, great ride.
Millsap into 17.
Everyone I talked to, you know, like, you're so old, how long are you gonna go? You have to be in 30s, 32, right? I'm only 24. Still a lot of time to get where I need to be.
Davey may seem like the oldest racer on the track, in part of the quantity and severity of the crashes he has suffered. He has not finished an outdoor season since 2006, and his injuries vary from a broken femur to internal organ damage.
Millsaps on the deck here just before the finish line.
Trainer Tim, who works at JGR, was standing right there, and they thought I was dead.
Just an update on Davey's condition. He was actually life flighted out of the facility to the hospital because it is 2 hours away.
I ended up breaking a bunch of ribs, my back, bruised my lung, broke my thumb, and lost my kidney in the same crash. I jumped off the front of my bike, and when I hit the ground, they said I just came to a stop. And I know it was like a 35-foot drop.
Why didn't you just say, okay, it's time to look for something else to do?
I don't want to say it's the only thing I know, but it's the only thing I know. You know, I've been doing it for 21 years. Being able to do something that I love every day is probably not going to find that again.
Criticism of Davey's work ethic may arise partly because of his personality, although it stands in contrast of the stern focus exemplified by the sport's top riders. Davey's demeanor is what attracted his wife Brittany 7 years ago.
If Davey's jumping around, talking to people, joking, to me, that's his good day. And he could probably end up doing better that night than being quiet. He had a different attitude about things. That's what I liked.
Davey always thought he had the most game out of all of us.
I did. I got Miss Supercross.
For being the kid, you know, that signed good money at a young age. I don't have money. I don't have money. But then girls, we go with the girls. I got this, boys. I got this. And when nobody's around, remember I paid for you and that girl? You owe me 20 bucks.
Yeah, but like, I was never like, here, you know, look at this, look at that, I got this, I got that. I mean, seriously, all of us grew up in the barn, and I lived with my mom, and my sister and my brother, and Big Brian and Little Brian and Martine. I mean, it's not like, oh, come back to the house, you know, meet my mom. Well, my mom used to put a bounty on my head for anyone that would get me to hit them. She would pay someone to come over and hit me, but no one would. I don't fight, so she wanted someone to fight me.
Honestly, I was gonna do it, but I just didn't want to hurt Davey. How can you hurt that bear? Look at him, the bear.
Coming up next, Colleen Millsaps is preparing the next generation of motocross pros, using the same techniques she used with Davey. At the Millsaps training facility, pain is the only currency that buys respect.
Your balls? You hit your balls.
Yeah, so.
You hit your balls, dude. You didn't break a bone. Well, ride it out.
Davey's favorite thing is jumping, as you might guess. He liked to get lots of air, no matter what bike he was on. Do you know that he was only 5 years old when he started riding a 60? How does a 5-year-old know how to shift gears?
Okay, you can still have the same RPMs. There's 2 ways to do it. You can go.
Colleen Millsaps trained her son Davey for 16 years, winning 9 Loretta Lynn's championships and a light supercross championship along the way. Colleen now owns and operates the Millsaps training facility in Cairo, Georgia. Her students are among the best amateur riders in the United States, and they are currently preparing for the Loretta Lynn's Amateur Championship.
It definitely changed my life. When he bought that 50, I wasn't like, wow, I'm gonna teach him, I'm gonna teach every other kid out there from all over the world. That was never the plan.
Get your head right, okay? You gotta finish this moto.
In amateur motocross, success may hinge on whether or not a rider receives financial support from a factory. A Loretta Lynn's championship is the strongest case a rider can make for that support. For these kids, today determines their future.
Every one of these starts have to count.
This is life. We're 2 weeks out of Loretta's right now. They don't want this guy to win. They all want to win, and they're going to get into it.
You're slow! Shut up! You're slow! Get out of here!
I'm never going to prevent that. I like that. How many boys don't ever get in a fight? You know, they talk all the smack, but they've never been hit.
What he did to you, is there anybody in your class that's gonna do anything worse?
No.
Okay, so is he making you a better racer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amateur racers as young as 6 years old are placed in potentially life-threatening situations every day in practice. The mentality and physical strength required to deal with these circumstances must be enforced from the beginning as well.
The truth of the matter is, the sport as a career usually doesn't last very long, and we don't have time to have bad years. You have one bad year, you're not going to get a ride for the following year, so your year is going to be even worse.
5 sprints, right? You're a what? You're an animal.
The difference between our sport and some of those other stick and ball sports is that if you show up on a baseball, basketball, or football field and try and play a game with your friends, you're not going to be leaving in an ambulance. You show up on a motocross track and you don't know what you're doing, there's a real good chance that you're going to be taking a ride out.
You missed it 4 laps. Go make up for it.
Gage, when he was jumping that table, sometimes that's really hard for me to push them. I know what could happen, but I also know that if he gets that, he's at another level mentally. He's more confident. He's going to get hurt less, ultimately.
Coming up next, on opposite ends of the country, Davey and Colleen pursue their goals for the summer of 2012. But their current situations continue to be harmed by their racing past.
Every day, every race, she was right there. Things started turmoil between us because she wanted so much from me, it got so overwhelming.
A lot of damage has been done.
Davey Millsaps entered 2012 determined to silence the critics of his fitness and drive. His mother, Colleen, has been working with riders, hoping for success at the Loretta Lynn's Amateur Championships. For both mother and son, their current goals are rooted in their shared racing past.
Colleen had a lot of love for Davey. Their relationship, it was untouchable. I can remember before each race, when he was really little, they had a ritual. She'd sit there and she'd start tickling him. He'd just laugh and think it was the greatest thing, and he'd go out and he'd race.
I often say that I wished I'd had some place to send him, because then maybe it wouldn't have ended up where it ended up.
During Davey's early racing years, his mother managed his training, while his father worked building electrical towers and serviced Davey's dirt bikes. When he was 12, his parents got divorced. Davey lost his mechanic, and Colleen her source of income.
My ex was trying to force me to file bankruptcy, and I absolutely wouldn't do it. To me, that was degrading. It was failure. Not only was going to show him, but I wasn't going to let my kids know that failure was an option.
You're not hurt. You don't feel any pain.
When they got divorced when I was 12, it was devastating. I mean, my dad to me, was a big part of my racing back in the amateur days. We had our thing on the line. We had a lot of little rituals we did, and they all got taken away.
30 minutes, and you're not going to pull off. And you're not going to find excuses.
When Carlos stepped in, it was like an angel came down. I mean, that's the way we always looked at Carlos.
I remember the first day I walked to their house, one bike, and it's supposed to be 13 bikes, and it was boxes full of parts.
A lot of people at that time used to ask him a lot of questions. And Carlos and I came to the conclusion, you know, why ask more questions? Let's be good friends. I think he'll be more successful if we do that than put ourselves where everybody else is putting themselves.
Carlos stepped in, and we had our own little thing now. It was fun again. If it wasn't for Carlos and my mom and Thelma, I wouldn't have made it.
After her divorce, Colleen worked 2 jobs, training amateur racers during the day and cleaning houses at night, a necessity in order to fund Davey's racing and provide for her other children, Brianna and Ryder.
It would take 28 hours to clean a house. Every window, it has to look perfect. I make $250. $250, that's 3 tanks of gas. My kids didn't know how hard it was. You keep it from them, you just do it. Not like you whine about it or cry about it. You just get up and you go to work.
At first, she was just my mom. Do all this for fun. Then it started getting serious, and then she played the role of riding coach. The riding coach took over the mom side.
That's nowhere near the truth. I was the mom, the dad, the doctor, the coach, the teacher, everything. Did I do everything right? No.
Think. This matters.
She would ride behind us in a car while we were on our bicycles, set the cruise control at 18 miles an hour. And she wasn't moving.
You came off the gate, you didn't bog. Why, when you get in the rut, do you quit?
Kids want discipline. Whether they admit it or they don't, they want structure. Davey learned at a very young age that if you work hard, there's success. Davey showed up at Loretta Lynn's every summer. He was the fastest guy there because he worked harder than anybody else.
I think that she could see what I can be and what I'm not doing to get there. And that's when I think that things started turmoil between us because she wanted so much from me, it got so overwhelming.
Was that last one good enough? Yes or no? No, then we're back to 0.
You know, at one point in time, I felt like I had the world, you know, on my shoulders, and I'm finally starting to, you know, feel it come off my back.
Davey and Colleen parted ways when he was 19. They did not speak for 3 years and rarely speak today.
You can't change what happened back then, but you don't know what the future holds for it. So you look at that as a positive. Because, I mean, if you hold on to that thing for the rest of your life, it's going to keep weighing you down. And you're never going to be who you want to be, and you're never going to go where you want to go.
Coming up next, Millsaps heads into the 2012 outdoor season, fresh off a career best, second in Supercross. It is the perfect year for a new beginning.
Millsaps and Short, shoulder to shoulder.
Davey Millsaps and his wife Brittany welcomed their first child, Dane Duke, in May of this year. Due to family differences, Davey's mother Colleen and sister Brianna have yet to see the child.
I don't think right now that I'm ever going to be a big part of that kid's life.
I mean, come on, I'm not going to let you be a part of my kid's life if you can't be a part of my life. You know, my family's life. I don't think that's fair.
Do you think Davey and Colleen had more of a coach-player relationship instead of a mother and son?
Mother and son, yeah.
Maybe you were the person that Davey could get a hug from, get some encouragement from?
Oh, he always got lots of hugs from me.
My grandma, she's been the one solid thing in my life since I was born. Every day, you know, I think about it, it's like I don't know what I'd do without her.
I bet that what you're going through now, you could be an inspiration to a lot of people.
Oh, I don't know about that. When I was told that I had the cancer, and I asked the first doctor, he says, there's no cure. I said, well, how long do you think that, you know, I have to live? And he said, without treatment, 6 months. I thought, wow, that didn't give me a whole lot of time.
One thing that Davey said is he wants his grandma to see a big, happy family again before her time's up.
I say no because I don't know. A lot of damage has been done.
He doesn't know this. I watch his race every weekend. It kind of hurts when I watch him and he's not putting in 100%. When he rides with heart, there is no one better to watch ride.
The capacity crowd here in Hangtown, say hello to the 450cc Moto riders. Out of turn number 1 they come. James Stewart has jumped into the number 1 ride. Come on! Stewart, Metcalf, Short now back into the number 3 ride. Into the number 4 position is Millsaps. Dungey into the number 5 ride.
Millsaps and Short, shoulder to shoulder. Can Millsaps get the pass on Short? Yes, he can, and Millsaps goes back after Brett Metcalf.
And now Dungey is trying to make his move. Dungey says it's go time. The pressure now comes on the Yoshimura Suzuki. Here comes Millsaps to the inside. And Davey Millsaps, it's first and 10. Woo! Davey Millsaps has moved into the number 2 position. And James Stewart with a fist pump. Davey Millsaps into the number 2 spot.
He doesn't get enough credit, I think. Like this year, he got 2nd place in Supercross, which is amazing. I think he's just had a lot of highs and lows. People like to look at the lows.
What are some of the things that you regret?
You know, I wish I would have done more of the training, you know, that I was told to do back in the day. You know, I was young and dumb. Oh, you're my mom, you don't know. People on the outside looking in are really the only ones that can actually see what you're doing wrong. No matter how good you are or how good you think you are, you can always be better.
Into turn number 1 they go.
Couple riders now on the ground on the backside of the track.
He crashed twice. Davey Millsaps went down. He is starting out dead last.
I was glad that she pushed me the way she did. She made it to where if I didn't ride, I was going to feel guilty. And I'd go out and ride, and at the end of the day, I was glad that I did.
And Davey Millsaps is starting to slice and dice his way through this field, and right now he's up to 14th spot.
Millsaps charged from 35th to 14th and finished 7th overall at Hangtown. While the rest of his 2012 outdoor season was marked by injuries, Davey's results brought him a 2-year contract for the coming years.
I think he's been very happy that his career has taken a turn for the better. There was a lot of personal issues, I think, that made his career take a dive, but I don't think it was ever that he didn't care. I think he's always cared.
You gotta smile like you're rocking. Ready? Action.
My grandma, there's sometimes that she asks me to call her after the races, and I don't because either I'm in a really bad mood or I just forget and it's late and I go back to the room and I go to sleep. But looking back, I wish I called her after every single one, because when the time comes where I don't get to do that because she's not here, I'm gonna miss it. And that's the hard part.
Do you think it's strange when people live their lives and they have people that are close to them, there's always so much that they wanted to say and they never get a chance to say it?
Yeah, I think that's true. And I keep thinking, you know, you're probably running out of time. You probably better do that pretty soon.
What would you write to Colleen?
I would tell her that I wish she and Davey would work things out. Every night I say prayers that's going to work out between the two of them.
I don't know how it's going to end. If you knew how it was going to end, would you have danced, you know? I don't know. I don't know what part I would give up. Even though I know the end, would I change the dance? Would I changed how it happened? I don't know, because there were so many things that were great. It was fun. We were just raw. I mean, you know. They ran around and they played in the mud and they swam and they shot skeet, and they would have never had that in a normal life.
Why do you think it was so important to her?
She wanted me to have a better life than what she did.
One of the things that makes me sad when I hear him say that I stopped being a mom. Can he do things that hurt me? Can I do things that hurt him? Yeah. But I never stopped loving him.
I love my mom. Always will, always have. Whatever happened in the past, whatever's gonna happen in the future. Even if we don't talk from this day on, I'm still gonna love him.
Davey Millsaps is among the best motocross riders in the world and has a growing family to fight for. Colleen Millsaps is among the best riding coaches in the world and has the opportunity to make life easier for other racing families. For both mother and son, there is a purpose each day, and that is a good life. Next time on the Moto, inside the outdoors. When Nico Izzi shattered his heel in his second professional season, he thought that 15 years of labor had been destroyed.
I wasn't mature enough at the time to deal with it all. When I lost it, I didn't have nobody. There was nobody.
The 2012 outdoor season is the latest chapter in Izzy's 3-year battle to get back on a factory race team.
Whoa! Nico Izzi goes down!
Last week, we took a look into the lives of Davey Millsaps and his mother, Colleen, an unstoppable amateur racing team that was severed 3 years after Davey turned pro. Elite amateur motocross riders turn pro at 16. They often make over $500,000 a year. They become the spokesman for several international brands. They will have a team of seasoned professionals and world-class equipment at their disposal. And they will stand proudly as thousands praise their accomplishments.
When I was 18, living out here making all this money, I didn't know anybody that well. I wasn't mature enough at the time to deal with it all.
This week, we look into the lives of Nico Izzi and his parents, Nario and Betsy. Like the Millsaps family, the Izzies dominated the amateur racing scene. But when Nico split with his parents 2 years into his pro career, the influences that replaced them nearly destroyed his life.
The industry spoiled my son. If I told him he couldn't have something, he would just call people in the industry, and they would get it for him.
I laid down the law. He didn't want to uphold the law.
Did not ever think that on a certain date in 2009, I was going to be falling from the sky possibly have my foot amputated, and when I lost it, I didn't have nobody. There was nobody.
For Izzy, the 2012 outdoor season is just a portion of a 3-year battle to get back on a factory race team. For personal reasons, the National at Red Bud, Michigan is the most important outdoor race of the year.
Josh Lichtel passed away last year at Red Bud, and I grew up with Josh. He would have done anything to be a top pro, but he had a really bad ankle injury, and this sport, it's you suck for 1 year and then you're nobody. You get forgot about real easy. Last year at Red Bud, he knew he was overeating, he knew he was hot, he knew he was tired, but he didn't pull off and quit. He died just trying.
What happened to Josh? What does that say about this sport?
It's all we really know. I mean, that's it. I mean, for a lot of us kids growing up, like me and Josh, that were homeschooled, if you don't have that, you really don't have anything else. Like Josh, he'll sit there and just keep trying and trying and trying till he's dead.
Coming out first today, in honor of Josh Lichtel, wearing the number 811 out of Rochester, Michigan, is Nico Izzy.
Doing that one slow lap with Josh's jersey on meant more to me than anything.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the starting grid.
Remember to breathe. Feel like you need to, like halfway, sit up, relax.
The gate is dropped, and into turn number 1, Ryan Dungey takes the number 1 ride. Weimer in 4, Brayton in 5, Tickle in 6, Nico Izzy into the number 7 ride.
Everybody already talked down on me. Everybody can laugh at me walking through the pits. They can say what they want, you know? That hurt, but when Josh passed, it was like, I got a purpose now.
Whoa! Nico Izzy goes down. Nico Izzy got blown off the track.
Izzy went over the berm. He was ragdolling it.
It was frustrating to go down and not finish it the way I wanted it to, but in the long run, I'm doing exactly what Josh wanted me to do. I don't have to get that result right there to make him proud. I'm making him proud, just doing what I'm doing right now. People know that. I'm working hard right now. No matter how many tattoos or how many mistakes I made, can't deny a hard worker. It's the bottom line.
In between races, motocross riders pursue 2 things: physical fitness and speed. For Nico Izzy, this midweek routine is 18 years old. He received a dirt bike at the age of 3 and was racing at the age of 4.
We were raised to win. This was our job. My dad was like so old school. You had to walk a certain way, and if you didn't, it was World War III, and if I didn't win races, it was World War III. I was homeschooled in 5th grade. At that point, I'd already won a couple titles at Loretta Lynn, so ride all day from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. It's my life. That's it.
By the time he turned pro, Izzy had won over 100 major amateur titles. This feat was accomplished over 10 years by spending 49 of the 52 weeks of the year on the road.
It's not a normal life that you live growing up. At such a young age, just like a robot, riding every day, training. There was always so much stress. My dad invested everything he had in me.
During his amateur career, much of Izzy's training was done in Florida with ex-pro Ronnie Tishner. His father, Nario, ran a construction business in Michigan to foot the bill. Nario is currently an amateur racing trainer, but he knew his son was better off training with someone else.
This goes back in my past a long time ago. You know, I had horses, and I wanted to win very, very bad. But my father wasn't into me winning. He was into me going to school. And that's what I take out on my son. If he wouldn't win, I'd get mad.
I turned 18, and in 2008, had a pretty big blowout with my dad at Millville.
The backward falling gate is dropped. They're heading into turn number 1.
Went out first moto, hit my head pretty good off the start. Probably had a minor concussion. Came back and I was out of it. Suzuki didn't even want me to race. And second moto, you know, my dad was like, oh, you know, you gotta race. I went out and got 6th. And it was Wharton's first race as a rookie, but Wharton got fit.
The freshman Wharton's turning the quickest lap time of the top 3.
For my dad to see Wharton beat me, he freaked out.
I don't like to get beat. When you got a kid that won everything, and then all of a sudden he gets beat by somebody that I didn't think should have beat him, I was wondering what the heck's up.
I was just over it at that point. I didn't see how somebody could love you or have your best interest. You're out there laying on the ground, and they don't even know if you're all right, but their main concern is, you didn't perform as well as I wanted you to. What are you talking about? Shouldn't you be concerned about me as a human being? I'm your son.
Nico's argument with his father took place during his rookie professional season. Like most rookies, Nico was living in Southern California near the factory race teams. His father moved to Georgia following the argument. Nico still lives in Southern California, and his goal for this week is making bike adjustments with his current team, Star Valley Yamaha.
For some reason, every time on that bike I pushed the edge, I would go down. You know, I'd crashed every race besides Colorado.
Nico Izzy got blown off the track right in front of me, and Izzy went down hard.
Found out at Redbud after the race, we had to make some chassis adjustments. Really wasn't even suspension.
The level of mechanical support that a rider receives can have a dramatic effect on their performance. And the same is true with their emotions. After seeing that his father only added stress to his life, 18-year-old Nico Izzy tried living with just his mother.
We had an apartment, and we had a mechanic. Nico had a trainer, and he also had an agent. The agency's telling him, you do what you want. You're making your own money.
The comment came back to me that my son needed to grow up and didn't need his family. You take an 18-year-old with a pocket full of money, you tell me he doesn't need his mom and dad? I mean, they're the sorts of strictness, you know, authority.
When I was 18, living out here making all this money, I didn't know anybody that well. If I had ran into somebody, it was just like, hey, what's up? Everybody acts like your friend when you're killing it.
More control. I lost the control. And the control was lost by the other people feeding it into his mind.
I didn't really have a childhood at all. I didn't know how to say no. Somebody said, hey, let's have a good time and let's spend this money. It's like, all right, yeah.
What was the final straw? How could you just say, I'm out of here?
I didn't. He did.
What do you mean?
He said, Mom, you have to leave. He didn't want me to know what was going on. The partying, the girls, whatever. He felt uncomfortable having me there so he could do what he wanted to do.
Every now and then, you'd have a Halloween party. It wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, you're 18. Maybe you shouldn't have thrown my parents away, but it never seemed to get any better. Every time I didn't perform, it was always an argument. I moved on, and I was still doing great without my parents there. My first 2 years pro, those were solid years. Finished 3rd overall in both Supercross seasons, 5th overall in outdoors.
Put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Nico Izzy, claimed 2nd overall on the day.
Had met Jackie, took her back to Georgia with me. We went to Chad Reed's house to do some testing. We actually kind of ended up being a little bit more than that after that. At the track, when I would practice, she was there holding my pit board. She was there doing my lap time. So it was like I really trusted her. I leaned on her like I felt like that was my team.
We went to Toronto, and I didn't think Nico was riding up to par. I see him sitting in the stands with a girlfriend, and I thought, well, you need a trainer. I kind of had some words, and I said, well, that's it. I'm not coming to no more races. And the very next weekend, Jacksonville, I had to go.
Oh, my goodness! Ryder goes way off the motorcycle.
Maybe I did not pay enough attention to him then, but that was mainly because of our frustration with him.
Six months into his pro career, Nico Izzy parted ways with his father, Nario, and then split with his mother, Betsy, soon after. He began dating his girlfriend, Jackie, a month before the start of his second professional season. At the Jacksonville Supercross on April 4th, 2009, Nico had 3rd place in the championship wrapped up and was 1 jump away from the finish.
Oh my goodness! Ryder goes way off the motorcycle.
I heard Stewart behind me, wide open, revved up in the air. I go to run off the track, and the first step I take, it just gave out, and I felt my boot filling up with blood. And it was the most excruciating pain I've ever been in.
The doctors wanted to amputate his foot, and it took a team to put together a surgery to put his foot back together. He has 3 plates and 10 screws in his foot.
At the time of his injury, Nico was one of the highest paid riders in the 250 class, and he was working with factory Suzuki team manager Roger DeCoster and DeCoster's engine technician Ian Harrison. After his injury, Izzy did not hear from the team.
It felt like, at the time, I gave a team everything I could. Basically, I had to get my foot amputated, and not even a phone call, not even a visit. And it hurt a little bit, like, wow, people don't care about you.
Maybe I did not pay enough attention to him then, but that was mainly because of our frustration with him. He was hanging around with the wrong people, which we did not like, and when we told him not to hang around with those people, we found out that 2 days later they'd be at a party together.
There is a time when we should call more often, I suppose, as a team. But from Roger's perspective, he's from an older generation. When he got hurt, no one called him. And if he's told you once and you haven't done it, he'll give you one more shot. And if you don't do it, then he's finished with you.
Maybe he could have helped the kid and signed him and got him back on the right track. But they're not going to do that. It's not their job. It's like, you know what? You're not doing the right thing. Boom, you're gone. Done. Next. Who's the next guy?
Much of Suzuki's attention in 2009 was occupied by their other riders at the time, Chad Reed, Mike Alessi, and Ryan Dungey. Although Dungey and Izzy were given the same equipment, the expectations on the teenage riders was nearly opposite.
When you're highly paid, then people want results. We get the pressure from Japan, and this is tough when guys are so young. Ryan was the complete opposite, Dungey. He came in for next to nothing. Pressure on him was much, much less.
I was prescribed painkillers for 5 months. I had never had so much pain like this in my entire life. For like 4 months after, it was still so bad. I mean, I would still feel my heart pumping in my foot. When the doctor stopped prescribing them, I didn't know what to do. It was like I was a full-on addict. I was in the bathroom sweating, throwing up. I'll go through withdrawals because I was on it for 5 months.
I didn't know to the extent of what my son was into. I really didn't.
On top of his unknown racing future, Izzy found out that his girlfriend Jackie was pregnant 8 months after his injury. He was 19 years old.
She's the best thing that has ever happened to me, but at that time it was like one of the hardest things to deal with because I didn't know what to do. I felt like I had really already lost, and anything that I did at that time wasn't even gonna affect the outcome because it was already gone.
Izzy began training 6 months after his ankle injury and was signed by the DNA Star Yamaha team for 2010.
Quite a gap back till we see the next rider, and it's Nico Izzy, rider 341.
Izzy, he didn't have anything left in the tank.
After finishing 17th in Supercross and 15th in the outdoors in 2010, Izzy's only racing option was a privateer bike and no salary. With his finances gone, he was forced to move to Georgia and live in this trailer.
When my good friend Josh Lichter called me and told me that I would have this amazing turnaround, it was nice to hear it, but I didn't think it was ever gonna happen. I really didn't think I had it in me.
Izzy's fitness was at its lowest point in the spring of 2011, and the coming outdoor season meant 35-minute motos in 100-degree heat. In professional motocross, there is nothing lower than privateer racing. If Izzy couldn't make a statement during the outdoors, his professional career could be over.
I don't have anything else. I mean, dirt bikes is all I know. I want my daughter to look up to me. Josh, I mean, this is something that he really wanted. This is something that I've always wanted my whole life. And I'm laying there in bed just basically crying myself to sleep because I just wanted it to be right. I wanted it to be normal, and I didn't know how. At some point, you just got to realize, hey, you know what? This is what it is. I can only change what I can change, and that's myself.
Into turn number 1 they go.
Izzy showed up to the outdoors wearing the number 42 and riding a Kilbarger Honda. The first major test of the year came at round 2 in Texas. known as one of the most physically demanding tracks on the circuit.
Nico Izzy, you got to give a thumbs up to this kid.
Went to Texas and got sixth the first moto. You know, it was super hot, and it started opening up people's eyes that, you know, maybe I was putting in the work.
Here we go into turn number 1. Nico Izzy gonna grab the hole shot.
I was either getting hole shots or I was running the top 10. It opened up people's eyes in the industry and signed with the team I'm on now.
Coming up next, Izzy heads into the final rounds of the 2012 outdoor season, determined to make a better life for his daughter.
Nico Izzy did not get a good start.
In 2008, Nico Izzy's 18th year of life began with the falling out of his parents. And in 2009, it was marked with a shattered heel and lost relationship with Suzuki. In 2010, his daughter Mia was born. In 2011, he lost his best friend, Josh Lichtel. Some things cannot be fixed, but Izzy has dramatically restored his life as of the summer of 2012.
What did it feel like when he said, "Mom, I need you"?
I cried. I cried.
Tears of what?
Sadness that this didn't come sooner.
I just want to be a good dad, man. I'm a young dad. I'm going to be 22 in July. I mean, it's crazy how much life she just restores back into me. She's made me see every situation way more clear. That's my daughter. It's a life. I just want to make her proud, and when she says that's my dad, I want to be good at what I do.
Professionally, Nico Izzy has been working his way towards a factory contract for 2 years. He began with moderate results in 2011 for the privateer Kilbarger team and has improved in 2012 while riding for Star Valley Yamaha.
If it wasn't for Star Valley, Rockstar Energy, Meta Militia, we wouldn't be here right now. Whatever I had, I took it and I ran as far with it as I could.
Well, the number 5 ride is Nico Izzy atop the Yamaha, and Izzy is staying right onto the gas.
Izzy has 4 top 10 finishes coming into round 10 at Unadilla, but he has also crashed at 5 out of the 6 nationals he has raced. Yamaha made significant adjustments to his bike following his latest crash at Redbud, and they appeared to improve the situation as Nico's lap times were second only to Ryan Dungey's in the first practice at Unadilla.
Really worked the bike nice. Looked good. I was pumped, man. I was pumped.
I'm here. I got a purpose now. Feels good to be back at the races. Before the gate even drops, it's already a victory.
In his amateurs, he won because he wanted to. But then when I put the pressure on him, it was gone. It's about the kid going out there and wanting to be better than everybody else.
A lot of riders caught up in that pileup, and Nico Izzy did not get a good start. He's in position 29.
Once the gate drops, it's like, then I automatically kind of click back to when I was a kid, you know, just riding dirt bikes, just having a blast.
Izzy turning some real consistent lap times. He's all the way up into the 14th spot.
I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he could win everything. I believe in him.
Nico Izzy now back up into the top 10. He's running 9th right now.
If he comes back to the way he was back in the day, that kid could go out there and really do some damage.
He's going great. I mean, this is Nico Izzy, 25th to 6th.
After finishing 6th in Moto 1 at Unadilla, Izzy finished in the top 10 in every moto but one in the final 5 races of the season.
So Nico Izzy is for real in 2012.
His results brought him a contract with the Rockstar Suzuki team for 2013.
People still think I can be a podium guy. I still believe I can. I mean, I still believe I can win races. Even though I haven't, even though I'm the top 5, top 6, top 10 guy right now, I still truly, honestly believe I can win races.
No matter how much you've lost in life, failure is a state of mind. Even in youth and in death, we can inspire the ones we love to change. Next time on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors. With Chad Reed, Ryan Villopoto, and Trey Kennard injured, there's room for others on the podium. Some are driven to the box in necessity, others with calculation. The lives of Michael Essie, Andrew Short, Jake Weimer, and Brock Tickle collide on the racetrack as they attempt to fill the void.
Unless you're prepared for the bad, the good will never come.
I didn't want to sell my farm, but that's the only thing I had left.
Previously on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors. We explored the struggles of top 10 riders trying to find a contract in a declining motocross economy, the difficulties of riders and parents in amateur racing, and the pitfalls of turning pro at 18 with no guidance. If you are looking for a reason to dismiss or judge the struggles of these people, you now have more information than ever to do so. But some believe that motocross will only overcome its struggles when we realize that we will rise or fall as a community.
There is no unification, and so everybody's trying to grab the last buck, and there's not enough bucks to grab. Whether it's the teams to teams or teams to promoter or promoter to team, nobody's working in conjunction of trying to grow the sport first.
The industry, there's a lot of people that they don't want the best for other people, you know, and it's kind of sad.
In a sport that grants little respect or compensation for riders and teams outside the top 5, kindness is often beaten away through years of struggle. But for team managers Mike Genova and Larry Brooks, and riders Jake Weimer and Brock Tickle, respect for others brings hope for the future.
That was awesome. Like, you could do that all day long, right? Yeah. Win or lose, we're doing this together, and if you need my help, dude, I'm there for you.
I say he's crazy, but he's passionate. He wants what's best for you, and he's living through you to achieve those goals.
As expected, the first 2 rounds of the 2012 outdoor season were dominated by James Stewart and Ryan Dungey.
James Stewart and Ryan Dungey once again put on a clinic.
Besides these 2 former champions, Andrew Short is the most experienced and successful rider in the field. And his team manager, Larry Brooks, brings the reputation of 6 Supercross championships.
Larry's in a unique situation because he's not corporate. I mean, he doesn't work for a big manufacturer. His only sole goal is winning races. It's not selling bikes or selling a product.
After struggling on a KTM last year, working with Brooks, his partner Jeremy McGrath, and factory Honda equipment seemed like a perfect situation for Andrew. But a month into the Supercross season, the team nearly folded when they lost their title sponsor.
We went 3 months without any money coming in. And I locked myself in my office for like 2-3 months.
It wasn't easy. Nobody was getting paid for a long time, and I didn't know what was going to happen. It would have been so easy for everyone just to roll over, pack it up, and go home.
We had just made the agreement with Chaparral that they were going to be our title sponsor, and so all that, and then roll into Seattle.
Andrew Short trying to get Broxton, and he doesn't. Oh my goodness!
Everything could be crap, and then one morning it just like sunshine. It's the guy's first Supercross win.
That night, you don't want to end. It was awesome. Didn't even want to go to bed. I couldn't talk the next day because my voice was gone. Like, I finally won.
Winning that Supercross should have put him in a whole new category. And dude, he sucked after that. He sucked. He couldn't even ride.
You weren't like finishing your corner. It just seemed like you weren't coming in and going, like dropping your...
Vegas, dude, dorks were passing him at the end of the race. And dude, that's when I lost it. I grabbed his wife and I said, hey, you're coming up here with us. And I told her, dude, if he doesn't come clean, I'm gonna freaking put the guy on the ground, you know? So we were talking, and he said, I don't know. I said, dude, don't say that again. And he said, I don't know. And dude, I just like headlocked him and like, dude, you're gonna tell me what's going on in your head. He's a big dude. He could have killed me.
You're not like turning with the back end anywhere. You're trying to do everything from the pegs forward.
I was just more emotional. Like, When the results don't come, it's depressing. And I feel bad also because all these people on the team are working so hard to get me to the top.
Short finished the final rounds of Supercross in 7th and 9th. His results were better in rounds 1 and 2 of the outdoors, but a 7th in Moto 1 at Colorado was a disappointment.
Andrew is missing a small piece. I think his block is in his head. I think he's afraid of success.
After a crash in Moto 1, title contender James Stewart did not show up to the line for Moto 2 in Colorado. For the rest of the field, the championship points race had grown dramatically more accessible.
Ryan Dungey with the hole shot. Andrew Short gets a good start, and Short drives up alongside Weimer.
He's come too far to leave it without winning a championship, man. And no one's ever really gone there with him. No one's ever really slapped him in the head and said, dude, you can win.
Dungey into the number 1 ride. Short into the number 2 position. Weimer into the number 3 ride. Tickle down into the number 4. They're closing in onto the 29 machine. It's Tickle and Short side by side. They land at the same time. Shorty holds on to the number 2 position.
Andrew Short takes second. Tickle right behind him.
He rode really good. He had some company with Tickle and Weimer right behind him, but he held it together. He held it strong, and having a good moto on any day helps mentally. You have to take that and then take it into the next week and then roll it over into the next weekend. It's the domino effect that you need to happen.
There is no satisfaction in motocross. Andrew's reward for his first podium at Colorado is the expectation of more to come.
And the number 21 of Jake Weimer turning quite a bit quicker lap right now than Andrew Short.
Coming up next, Jake Weimer is among Short's rivals in the pursuit of podium finishes this outdoor season. For Weimer, the starting line carries the weight of his team's expectations and his father's years of sacrifice. Jake Weimer is capable and expected to be on the podium this outdoor season. In his second year with Factory Kawasaki, he is riding the same bike that Ryan Villopoto has won 3 straight championships on. And he is working with the most successful trainer in the sport, Alden Baker.
At a certain point, you got to make a decision. Where are you comfortable riding at? Top 10 guy's great. If that's what makes you happy, perfect. You want to be a top 5 guy, well, you're going to have to step up your program quite a lot more. If you want to be a top 3 guy, you're all out.
Commitment has been the driving force behind Weimer's career from the start. Although he now lives and trains in Florida, Jake grew up in the town of Rupert, Idaho, and throughout his amateur career, his father Jason was in a battle to fund the dream.
We probably spent between $100,000 and $150,000 a year. I remember coming in here and cleaning stuff up, and I mean, I pawn shopped it. I'd sell $2,000, $3,000 of stuff to get to the next race. I'd haul him to school, I'd come home and I cut up scrap metal with a hacksaw all day long. Whatever I cut that day, I'd haul it over, I'd sell it, I'd go get him from school, and we'd go riding.
By the time Jake was 14, he had begun winning amateur titles, but his dad had run out of money. Amateur racers could not turn pro until 16. Jason would have to fund another 2 years of racing if Jake was going to have any hope at a pro contract.
I sold the 3rd generation family farm. I didn't feel at that point that I had a choice. Quit, and I wasn't willing to quit. You're committed. If you quit racing, you make that decision to quit racing. You're not coming back.
I've been dedicated because I don't want all that to go for nothing. It was a major sacrifice, and at the end of the day, make it count.
Before riding for Factory Kawasaki, Jake spent 5 years in the 250 class. In Supercross, he progressed from a 13th in 2006 to a West Coast championship in 2010.
Actually, Jake was a horrible racer until he was probably 14. He chips away, he chips away, he chips away. I'll explain, oh, you got to do this. You got to wake up, son. You know, and he's like, yeah, okay. And I thought that was a downfall. But as time went, I don't think it is a downfall. I think in a lot of cases, cooler heads prevail.
Last year was Weimer's rookie 450 season. He broke his arm before the start of Supercross and finished 6th in the outdoors. This year he finished on the podium 5 times in Supercross and finished his first Premier Class podium in the outdoors at round 3 in Colorado.
Oh my goodness, Idaho has taken over the number 2 ride.
We've had some success, but the game's still going. We're at halftime. I want to do better in the second half.
After James Stewart's crash at Colorado, Ryan Dungey won both motos, and going into round 4 at High Point, he is 35 points ahead of Weimer in the championship. Weimer is only 1 point ahead of Mike Alessi, a rider that beat Jake throughout their amateur careers, using the same method he uses today.
Starts. You start 10th, Mike gets the whole shot, you're not going to beat him.
Last week it was pretty good what you did like halfway up, you stood up.
If he could master that, if he can figure out his starts, he will race for a championship.
Mike Alessi, rider number 800, is out front and trying to break away.
Alessi, Andrew Short, Ryan Dungey, Jake Weimer.
Dungey has made the move. Dungey now up into second. And the number 21 of Jake Weimer turning quite a bit quicker lap right now than Andrew Short. Dungey pulls up alongside Mike Alessi, slams the door. And Weimer gets around Short. Jake Weimer, rider number 21, moves up into the number 3 spot. Come on!
By the time Weimer got into 3rd, Alessi and Ryan Dungey were 10 seconds ahead of him. Although Jake began running faster lap times than Alessi, he couldn't close the gap.
Checkered flag, say hello to Ryan Dungey! The 800 of Mike Alessi in second. Jake Weimer picks up spot number 3.
It's not like Jake's going to come out of the blocks and kill him. It's not. He never has. He's building steam slowly.
I've always tried to be really careful. I couldn't crash tomorrow, and it's just bummer deal, like you're done. I don't want to be like some of the other stories. Probably a big attribute to that is just how I was raised. I remember one day counting change out of like a little tin lunch pail so I could go get gas to ride. I mean, it was that difficult at times as an amateur.
Although aggression is a necessary ingredient for a racer, it has removed 4 of the sport's top athletes from the field this year and has ended or derailed countless motocross careers. Jake Weimer could not keep up with Ryan Dungey and Mike Alessi in Moto 2, but a 3rd overall put him on the podium for the 2nd straight weekend.
Telling that story I just told, thinking back to that and then to where I am now it's unreal.
Coming up next, for the renewed respect granted to him and his father, Weimer's rival Mike Alessi owes much of his 2012 resurgence to his team owner, Mike Genova. And Brock Tickle must look to others for motivation on the verge of unemployment. Unlike Premier Class veterans Andrew Short and Jake Weimer, Brock Tickle is a rookie in the 450 class and was not expected to finish on the podium coming into the outdoors. He won a 250 Supercross championship for Mitch Payton's team Pro Circuit last year, but when he was forced by the governing body to switch to the 450 class this year, he looked unprepared for the challenge. At round 2 in Phoenix, Tickle failed to qualify for the main event, and his average finish for the year was 11th.
On Supercross, he knows it. I wasn't happy. I was disappointed in his results. The intensity to make something happen, I don't think was there. There needs to be more heart in it. He's going to have to perform, and if he don't perform, he won't be here the next year.
Pro Circuit thrives off a combination of confidence and expectation. The first is built on the company's 29 championships, and the second is rooted in Mitch's personality.
Oh, it's cool. If you get 11th or 13th, it's all good. You know, I'm just not that guy. It makes me mad.
If Mitch wouldn't have gave me the opportunity, I don't think you would see a #1 plate in the record books for sure.
Pro Circuit machines are seen as some of the best on the racetrack. In a contract year, Tickle would have little hope of finding another job if he could not succeed in the outdoors.
You got to find someone who can help you, motivate you, and I have that with my team, my wife, And all my fans, I mean, it's crazy this year. I've noticed there's been more fans than there ever has been.
Tickle's year began to improve at round 3 in Colorado. He charged past Jake Weimer in Moto 2 to finish 3rd. And at Budds Creek 2 weeks later, he finished 2nd overall. It was the first Premier Class podium of his career.
Whenever I was 4 or 5 years old, I was the guy in the back that was too shy to actually come up and ask for an autograph. If I see a kid that's shy, I almost like look at him as like if it was me. Whatever gets them going to put a smile on their face, it makes my day.
In the current motocross economy, hope of financial security decreases sharply outside the top 5. At 5th in the championship point standings, Tickle must continue to find the podium in order to secure his future. While many riders express frustration regarding the small number of opportunities, race team budgets have little room for sympathy.
Well, we don't make any money, and we're amongst many teams that don't. That's what's wrong with it. And in any business model, if the entity isn't making money, ultimately it dries up.
In order to change the mindset of riders and industry professionals with regards to advertising, Mike Genova painted over the traditionally yellow plastics on his team Suzukis and renamed the bikes with the initials of his company.
I'm not going to run their logos or their identification for free. They pay other people to do it. If you're willing to pay him, you gotta be willing to pay me. Now, again, if we're not in the results enough that we don't deserve to get paid, that's a whole other story. But currently, we're vying for a championship in 2nd place, beating most of the guys that are getting paid high dollars to run their stuff.
The team captain of Genova's race team is Mike Alessi. Genova hired Mike and his father, Tony, after Alessi had the worst outdoor season of his career in 2011, and amidst an ongoing discussion that cites Mike's continued dependence on his father as the reason that he has struggled to win a professional championship.
A lot of teams and programs have tried to take Tony out of the equation to the point where it made Mike feel naked, vulnerable. Why make a guy uncomfortable? The whole idea in racing at this level is to make the guy as comfortable as you can.
With Tony operating within the Moto Concepts program in 2012, Mike has had the most successful season of his 8-year career. Going into round 8 at Washougal, he has finished on the podium at every round but one, and sits in 2nd behind Ryan Dungey in the championship.
Alessi still has the advantage, but Dungey is frustrated. Dungey's down! Ryan Dungey goes down! In a Moto win for the Moto Concepts ride, and Mike Alessi has won it ahead of Ryan Dungey.
I believe Mike Alessi was way better than people were giving him credit for. I believed in him.
Coming up next, Mike Alessi has solidified his place as 2nd in the championship, leaving Larry Brooks, Jake Weimer, and Brock Tickle left to battle for 3rd. But none are able to avoid the unpredictable trials of the sport.
And he went down with a thud.
Although they had remained close much of the season, Mike Alessi has spread his points lead over Jake Weimer to 55 at Washougal and Southwick. But Weimer would have the opportunity to cut that lead in half in round 10 at Unadilla.
Alessi's got some sort of bike issues out there, smoking and pulling off.
There goes Weimer. He's got the drive. Weimer for the pass, able to get it done.
The season's a little like, ooh, we got a couple podiums, ooh, bad race, couple podiums. Pass into the lead, you're pumped.
Weimer is on the ground, and we have riders all making their way around him.
That's why the sport is so difficult. Finally, I get the good start, get into the lead. Made a mistake on the ground. There's no guarantees.
Weimer's struggles at Unadilla put him in a tie with Brock Tickle at 4th in the championship behind Andrew Short. Short had an 18-point lead over them going into the final 2 rounds.
Andrew Short had a number 9 start out of turn number 1.
Jake Weimer jumps up into position number 3.
Andrew Short gets his front wheel cut, and he went down with a thud.
Already carrying a staph infection, the crash weakened Andrew Short's immune system further, hospitalizing him for days leading up to the final round. He would finish 4th in the championship, 1 point behind Jake Weimer.
Even though he's at the latter part of his career, I think he's still got more there. He's just not able to deliver. He has to believe in himself. That's what I'm going to try to do during the off season. And to me, a project is always exciting.
I don't think Larry's crazy when he thinks he can get more out of me in my career. That's what makes Larry unique. I've never had a manager that was that passionate.
Brock Tickle finished on the podium at 3 out of the last 4 races and secured a 2-year contract with the new RCH race team, an opportunity he owes in part to the high expectations of his Team Pro circuit and the inspiration he draws from his fans.
Look at Kevin Windham. His thing is the fans motivate him, and I think that's why he is still here. If I could be like him, that'd be like a dream come true.
Weimer's 3rd place finish in the championship is a career best in the outdoors. Factory Kawasaki has signed him for another 2 years, and Weimer has used this success to buy his father another farm.
He absolutely gave me life back. I was late 40s, no money, no job. Am I gonna live in a single wide trailer house and die alone?
I don't know if money could ever pay him back for the sacrifice that he gave me, for sure.
He's also making money off of owning his farm ground. We actually farm as a 50-50 partner. Jake is a shareholder of the Amalgamated Sugar Company.
Whether it is directed from manager to racer, racer to fan, manager to parent, or son to father, respect will give you allies. A hope for an industry yearning for growth. Next time on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors. In the 250 class, you will find the future of American motocross. In a sport whose currency is the spectacle of a battle, the potential for growth has never been greater.
Wow! Blake rides on the edge, and that's how he wins.
Last year, pro circuit just dominated.
In the 2012 season, Baggett, Tomac, Barsha, Roczen, and Muscan will all win races, but only one can be champion in the deepest field ever. Previously on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors. Larry Brooks, Mike Genova, Brock Tickle, and Jake Weimer all found success in the 2012 outdoor season while respecting those around them. The motocross community and its outside influence will grow as much as its members build each other up. The more competitors capable of racing at the front, the more entertaining a race becomes. Considering the generation of dreamers in the 250 class proving grounds, the scale of racing combat is already building.
It's gonna be the deepest lights class outdoors ever. Ever.
Muscan, 2-time champ. Roczen, 1-time champ. Barsha, 2-time champ. Tomac, 1-time champ. You know, they're on it. They got championships for a reason.
The fear that, you know, you can lose, it makes you work harder.
These riders are about to go full on, take the gloves off and punch it out.
Blake Baggett, Eli Tomac, Justin Barsha, Marvin Muscan, and Ken Roczen are all capable of winning races at any time. A blessing for each racer, team manager, parent, and fan alike. The 2012 outdoor title hunt took its first turn at round 7 of the West Coast Light Supercross Championship. Both fighting for the West Coast title, reigning outdoor champion Dean Wilson pushed Eli Tomac off the track early in the race.
When he was little, he was always the nice guy. And it was always, why did you let that guy do that to you? It was neat, his maturity level went, no, you're not gonna do it.
Eli Tomac side by side.
Dean Wilson goes down hard.
If they're doing it to me, I'm gonna do it back. You know, I don't want to race like that, but if we have to, we have to.
Sometimes you just get sick of getting pushed around. You gotta let everyone know you're not afraid to get them back if they come after you.
I don't dig it, but I don't dig it when we do it either. When they start smashing each other, that's what happens, and it turns into a little bit of a nightmare.
Ligament damage sustained at the crash in Seattle would ultimately end Wilson's chances at the Supercross title and defending his 2011 outdoor championship. A fact that would leave Blake Baggett the only pro circuit rider capable of delivering Mitch Payton a #1 plate in the outdoors. If he failed, it would be the first time in 8 years that the team did not win a title in Supercross or Motocross.
You can brush off a little bit of the stress when you've got a couple other teammates under the truck. You go in there like we did this year. It was Blake pretty much the majority of the year. They know that we're counting on them, right?
Pro Circuit's 2011 season was nearly perfect. They won every overall in 23 out of 24 motos. Up until round 9, Baggett was one of the most dominant riders in the series. But at rounds 10 and 11, his hope for a championship disappeared.
Blake Baggett finds himself way back in the pack.
With last year not being able to clinch that championship, I've just seen him work twice as hard, 10 times as hard.
Tried to look back on what I did in 2011 on the good races and just focus on trying to repeat that again.
As the 250 class prepares to test their machines days before round 1, the greatest unknown is 18-year-old Ken Roczen. The German-born racer holds records in Europe as the youngest ever GP winner and world champion, a fact that had many believing he would work with and follow in the footsteps of 10-time world champion Stefan Everts.
Riders like Everts, they decided to stay over there. It would be a smart move. You speak your own language. You know all the tracks year after year. You know the peoples you work with. It would be a lot easier, but I wanted a new challenge, you know.
I think it's because he wants to be the best, and he knows that if he stays just in Europe, you're the best in Europe, but you're not the best in the world. The sport is as big here as it is in the whole of Europe combined.
This is your place. Those guys don't have nothing for you.
Just himself being a little step ahead of everyone in Europe, the guys respect him a little bit more. And over here, his competition don't really care who you are. They believe they're going to beat you.
Recent history has only increased the confidence of American racers when matching up against European world champions. In the past 3 years, European champions Christophe Purcell, Tyler Rattray, and Roczen's teammate Marvin Muscan have all failed to win American outdoor championships.
Here comes the number 20 of Barsha. Roczen's going to try to go around the outside. Roczen has closed up on Barsha. Come on!
Barsha still has the lead. Roczen tries to go out of the inside. Ken Roczen says, here I come. It's a drag race and a world champion coming out of Germany on a KTM.
Here comes Baggett. Baggett gets around Marvin Muscan now. Blake Baggett, rider number 12.
Baggett on the gas into the number 4 rod. Blake Baggett is gaining 1 second per lap.
Barsha's working the inside. Roczen on the outside.
Then Roczen back to Barsha. Barsha back to Roczen. And it's Roczen now. And Baggett has gone to the outside and dropped his way into the number 3 position. It doesn't get any better. Roczen, Barsha, and Baggett, and it's just that quick. Barsha's playing defense now, and that is a bad situation to be in. Baggett goes to the outside, and Baggett has gone into the number 2 position. Baggett now is going after Roczen. They're 3/4 of a lap to go. Baggett goes wide to the outside. Baggett goes into the number 1 ride. One of the greatest comebacks in the history of the Hangtown Classic.
When you're the guy, you're the guy. He flat laid it down, proved it, knocked it out, and put it away.
For Ken Roczen, his late moto failure at Hangtown was merely a disappointment. But as the season moved on, it was clear that the German's fitness could not match his competitors.
Right now, Barsha's all over Roczen.
Barsha was able to get him, and that changes the overall.
Roczen would be passed in the final lap at round 3 in Colorado, and the following weekend at High Point.
Here he goes on the inside, shoulder to shoulder. It's going to be Tomac. Tomac takes over the lead.
Oh, I was just so mad. I couldn't believe it. He had that one. He just had to bring it home.
Roczen went to train with premier class rider Andrew Short in the humidity of Texas in order to improve his stamina. But at round 5, nothing had changed.
Let's go! Barsha just got Ken Roczen over the finish line.
By the end of the second moto at Budds Creek, Roczen has led 51 laps, but had never won a moto.
We need to start winning one of these days.
I think it maybe became a bit psychological for him. Got nervous and tensed up, and then the guys just took advantage of it.
Just a total different planet here, and the heat was just a hard thing. And I guess this is the living over here, so you can either live with it and learn and adjust, or you have to go back to Europe.
Coming up next, success in the American outdoors is nearly always a multi-year process. Roczen's teammate Marvin Musquin is laboring through his second year, and Justin Barcia has only become a title contender after 4 years of struggle. Justin Barcia has won 2 straight East Coast Supercross championships. But in his 4 years in the 250 class, 2012 is the first season Barcia has been in the outdoor title hunt. He turned pro in 2009, led 17 laps of the season opener at Glen Helen, and won his first overall at Southwick that same year. But after a decorated amateur career, he had fallen short of his own expectations.
My last 2 years amateur, I don't think I ever lost a race. Honest, like, even if I crashed, I'd still win. It's a rude awakening when you go from winning everything to top 10 and even further back.
And Barcia is deep in this field.
In 2010 and 2011, Barcia's results did not improve. He only won 3 motos in 2 years, and many of his losses came from crashing while in the lead.
Oh, I believe Barcia's gone down at a pile at the base of the sky jump. Wow. Barcia is on the ground right now, rider 17.
You almost don't enjoy it anymore. I knew it was time for a change, and we made a drastic change. You know, I bought this piece of property here in Florida. We built a track. I spent, you know, a lot of my money on building this place, and it was like a make it or break it situation, really.
It's gonna be Barcia with the whole shot.
In the first 5 rounds of the outdoors this year, Barcia finished 2nd overall at Hangtown, High Point, and Budds Creek. And at round 3 in Colorado, he won his first overall since 2009.
Justin Barcia grabbed the whole shot out front. He throws a fist to the crowd.
Never give up. I drill that into myself every day I ride. Those other guys up front winning every weekend aren't giving up. Another thing I changed, try to have more fun when I'm doing my moto. Whips are fun, that's one thing I like to do. And also, you know, when you have a perfect track, the bike's working good, you're feeling good, just all goes together, and it's like really effortless.
Among the collateral damage of Barcia's struggles last year was a destroyed transitional season for 2-time world champion Marvin Musquin. In the first moto at round 2, Barcia's bike hit a hay bale, bounced up and hit Musquin, shattering 3 bones in his hand.
I won a lot of races in Europe, and here the first year was a nightmare for me, and I got hurt twice, broke my thumb and my hand.
Musquin re-broke his hand during the 2012 Supercross season, and because he wanted to be in the championship hunt in the outdoors, he had surgery 12 days before round 1.
Marvin Musquin's now back to 8th.
They put a plate in, and he just has to deal with the pain. The plate's holding the bone together. We'll get it, bud. Stay positive. Nice start.
Musquin's results have been slowly building throughout the 2012 outdoor season.
Get in!
After a 9th overall and a 6th overall in the first 2 rounds, Musquin finished in the top 5 the next 4 races.
He also wasn't in good enough shape at the beginning, and he basically had to work his butt off. It started out as 4 top guys, and he had to work his way in there.
Going into round 8 at Washougal, he is 5th in the championship. In order to change his situation, he had to start winning.
Marvin Musquin into that #1 position, and that KTM came off with a shot. Back into the #2 position comes Barcia and then Tomac. And Barcia has closed the gap just a bit on Marvin Musquin.
We've got a pass, and Barcia makes the move on Musquin. They're heading up Horsepower Hill.
They're side by side, a drag race indeed. The 20 of Justin Barcia has found his way to the #1 position. Justin Barcia across the stripe. Marvin Musquin in 3.
He had the speed, he has the ability, but he needs to get stronger and mentally. He was leading for about 24 minutes. If he has 10 minutes more, he would have won, you know.
Justin Barcia would win his 2nd overall of the season at Washougal and move within 11 points of championship points leader Blake Baggett, the closest he had been since round 2.
It's my last year. It was either make it or break it, and definitely trying to make it right now. I'm gonna work hard and do my best and do whatever it takes to win.
Like his teammate Justin Barcia, title contention in the outdoors has been a multi-year process for Eli Tomac. Tomac turned pro in 2010 and was the first racer in history to show up at the opening National of the Year and win the overall as a rookie.
Unbelievable, the youngster out of Colorado.
But the following weekend, Tomac's season was derailed by the 100-degree heat and 80% humidity of Freestone, Texas.
A little bit of the magic's worn off. Tomac continues to lose spots on the track.
He would carry the effects of heat exhaustion with him, failing to reach the podium the rest of the 2010 outdoor season.
I think the industry can be quite impatient a lot of times, especially with the young guys. That's not my approach. He's always progressed at a reasonable pace for me.
Tomac trained in Texas last year and reached the podium 4 times, but he still struggled with strong finishes and was outside the title hunt for much of the season.
You can go out there and pound 100 laps, every day when you're 16, and you're still not going to be as strong as you are when you're 19 or 20.
Tomac's redemption in the outdoors this year began at the track where his struggles started 2 years ago. Going into round 2 at Texas this year, he was 21 points out of the championship.
Tomac looks to be the rider that is absolutely on fire right now, showing determination, gritty riding, and a no-holds-barred attack position to get to the front.
Eli won both motos at Texas, an average of 12 seconds ahead of points leader Blake Baggett. And he would further silence questions of his fitness with a charge from 7th place in Moto 2 at round 5.
Here comes Tomac at the inside.
Shoulder to shoulder, it's going to be Tomac. Tomac takes over the lead.
People like to try to figure it out. You can go, why is Eli winning right now? And I can go, well, because we've been working at this for 15 years.
Going into round 10 at Unadilla, the riders just behind Tomac are Ken Roczen and Marvin Musquin. In Moto 1, Tomac finished a disappointing 6th. Roczen achieved his first Moto win in the U.S., and Musquin finished 2nd, his best finish in 2 years in the outdoors.
It's not easy to do by yourself, and so Mathilde is next to me, and now she's like my trainer a little bit.
I was young when I met Marvin, so I decided pretty early what I wanted to do, We moved when we was 20 years old to the US from France. We was pretty young, different country, different language, and Marvin was world champion. Come on, I'm world champion, But you're a world champion in Europe. You're nothing here in the US.
Tomac, he is on fire right now.
Barcia almost goes down, and Tomac makes the pass, comes the hill side by side. Tomac takes the lead.
Musquin under pressure now. Justin Bogle going to put the pressure on. Bogle trying to sneak up and still some podium glory there. It looks like Musquin might have the slight advantage.
With the dominant win in Moto 2, Tomac pushed 4 points closer to Blake Baggett in the championship and was beginning to establish himself as the fastest rider in the class. For Marvin Musquin, his combined Moto scores at Unadilla were enough to give him his first overall win in the United States.
When I win a race, it's not only me, it's her for sure, and also Frankie, my mechanic.
He hasn't consistently pushed his limits, and this year he found he needed to push his limits if he wants to win.
Coming up next, Tomac and Justin Barcia close in on Baggett further at Steel City, sending the championship battle to the final moto at Lake Elsinore.
There goes Barcia, there goes Baggett. Tomac has found something special.
Regardless of how much time and effort is put into the dream of winning a championship, the causes of success are unknown. The family of championship points leader Blake Baggett has watched him dominate his competitors with aggressive riding, crash as a result of that same aggression, and lose his confidence while trying to restrain himself.
It's a very helpless feeling. If they win, you're there to celebrate with them. If they don't win, you're there to pick them up. You're doing a lot of repair.
Last year, Baggett started the season with a dominant performance at Hangtown. But after a concussion suffered at Texas and a crash at Budds Creek, he would struggle in the final rounds of the season, and he would never have the points lead again. This year, he was again on a level above his competition at Hangtown. And although he has not lost the points lead all year, his first major crash came at round 7.
Oh, Baggett goes down hard.
When that gate drops, I don't know what's going to happen. When that checkered flag drops, you hope your son crosses it. In between those two things, you're not sure what's going to happen. You basically pray that, you know, every lap goes good.
Blake rides on the edge. He rides over his head, and that's how he wins. Towards the end, it was more about riding conservative. I don't really think that he's ever had to tell himself, don't go crazy, don't ride over your head.
Just like in 2011, Baggett's results began to slip in the final rounds of the year. At Steel City, round 11 of 12, Eli Tomac closed within 14 points of Baggett by winning both motos.
Blake Baggett picks up a 4th, and the points race tightens up even more.
If we do that again next weekend, we'll be going home with a #1 plate. I think he's the fastest lights rider in the world right now.
I can't really point out on one thing that's changed in my program. I think the biggest thing for me was getting that Supercross championship. Once you go out there and beat guys, it just becomes kind of a habit, you know, to be out front.
Came into that last round at Elsinore and a do or don't situation. Everybody started to say I was choking, but definitely there was pressure there.
Race fans, are you guys ready for the first 250 moto of the day?
Wind up in Elsinore, and I thought it was hot on press day, and it was a lot hotter on Saturday. That was fantastic. For him, his fitness is really good.
Into turn number 1 they go. Varsha followed by Baggett, and here comes Tomac. Top 3 in the series are on the same section of track.
And here comes Baggett now. Oh, we've got a pass indeed. Blake Baggett moving into the #1 spot, but can he hang on to it?
Although Tomac would make a charge at Baggett late in the race, he exhausted himself in the process and would fall 14 seconds back by the end.
One step closer to making it all happen is Blake Baggett.
After his win in Moto 1, Baggett had a 17-point lead over Tomac in the championship. A 13th in Moto 2 was all that was required for him to win his first professional title.
A championship to me means you did the correct work from the amateurs on through. When it came down to the last moto, I was saying, wow, this still may not work.
And Blake Baggett's about 25th place right now.
Blake Baggett has turned in a tremendous first lap. He's gone all the way to 11th place. Right now, you got Varsha taking over the lead over Alex Martin.
Blake Baggett goes down. Both Anderson and Muskin get around him. What a tough break, just as he was starting to really step it up.
Baggett down to the inside, and now Baggett has passed another one. He's got that heart. He's got that desire.
Small crash and all, Baggett charged from 25th to 2nd in Moto 2 at Elsinore. His fastest lap of the day was the one that clinched his first professional championship.
The best job in the whole wide world, being a motocross mom. Because I've been able to spend 16 years at the track with him. If he was a soccer player or whatever, I wouldn't have that relationship. I wouldn't have been able to be with him every day.
It could have gone one way or the other. And so to know that day that he had a smile on his face, he wasn't walking away with any regret or any questions, was the best.
In a sport whose currency is the spectacle of a battle, health is defined by the number of high-quality competitors on the racetrack. In 2012, the top 5 racers in the 250 class scored points in every moto, something that has not happened in American motocross in recent memory. It is a generation that has everything we need to grow. Next time on the Moto, Inside the Outdoors. The reward for success in the 250 class is increased expectations in the 450 class. There are millions invested into your performance. The reputation of those closest to you depend on your race results. For Ryan Dungey, it can all be a burden, or it can all be the dream. Last time on the Moto, inside the outdoors. Title contention was a multi-year process for the elite American riders in the 250 class. But with 5 riders capable of winning in every moto, Blake Baggett won his first professional championship amidst a generation full of potential. While potential is a foundation for hope, it guarantees nothing. Ryan Dungey represents the dream for anyone trying to make a living on a dirt bike. But his position at the top is something he doubted in the past, questions today, and is constantly trying to reinforce.
Ryan doesn't see himself as a top guy yet. He sees himself as having much more potential and that he has to do more work.
And Dungey is pulling away from James Stewart.
His name is in the headlines of the sports page from Belle Plaine, Ryan Dungey, and it makes you feel proud.
You build up these barriers in your head, like there's no way you can do this, but if you believe in it truly enough, a way will create itself, and it will happen.
Ryan Dungey's path into professional motocross defied the traditional pattern. Ricky Carmichael earned his first pro contract after winning 9 Loretta Lynn's amateur titles. Davey Millsaps after 9. James Stewart after 11. And Michael Lessie after 11. Ryan Dungey has only 1 Loretta Lynn's amateur title to his name, and consequently received no support the majority of his amateur career.
I always wanted to be the hype and the guy to beat and the whole package in amateurs, and I always thought for myself, if you weren't a guy like Ricky or James that had an unbelievable amateur career, there's no way. From sitting in class thinking about it, to running on the roads thinking about it, to laying in bed at night wandering, I just hoped. It didn't matter how far behind I was at that moment from everybody else, I just hoped.
Dungey's father, Troy, built houses and sold them in order to fund the racing of his sons, Jade, Ryan, and Blake. Also, due to the extreme winter temperatures in Ryan's hometown of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, his father would drop him off with a family in Texas for a few weeks of practice. Ryan would be given $300 to cover practice fuel costs and be forced to make up his schoolwork when he returned.
I missed a whole month of school. I was behind on a lot of work, and I was goofing off a little bit in class in front of the teacher, and she snapped at me and she just told me, you need to give up your dreams of being a professional racer. That's not going to take you anywhere in life. I didn't say anything. I just remember getting really angry. I was going to do everything I can to be that.
It's all cool. Just going to go on next moto and do it again.
While Dungey was racing amateur motocross, the professional racing scene was being dominated by Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael rode his final years with factory Suzuki alongside team manager Roger DeCoster and engine technician Ian Harrison.
Ryan would come and see Roger and I at nearly every race, and he said, my dream is to race for you guys. I want to be on your team.
I remember talking to Roger, I don't want any money. I just want an opportunity to be on the best equipment, and I'll prove myself from there.
He called us. We were in Southern California testing with Carmichael, and he said, hey, I'm in the area. Do you mind if I come and ride with you guys today? I didn't really even pay any attention to him. I was busy with Ricky, and Roger came over and said, this kid is incredible. His corner speed is amazing. This guy has got huge potential.
After signing with Suzuki in 2006, Dungey won 4 championships under Harrison and DeCoster. In 2010, he was only the 2nd rider in history to win a Premier Class Supercross championship in his rookie season. And his outdoor championship that same year contained a record-breaking 19 moto wins for a rookie.
I mean, where would today be if Roger went and said, okay, let's just give this kid a try? He'd probably be working for me smearing concrete.
Despite their success, Roger DeCoster informed Dungey he would be leaving Suzuki and going to KTM, the same day they won their 2010 outdoor championship. At the time, KTM was one of the few companies in the sport that was increasing their race budget. After moving to KTM, DeCoster spent much of 2011 building a new dirt bike in the hopes of attracting Dungey during the off-season. Much of KTM's motivation for hiring DeCoster and spending the millions required to build the new machine stems from the fact that they have never won a Premier Class championship in the United States. A goal that may not exist if DeCoster had not come to the U.S. in 1981 and led Team USA to their first 13 Motocross of Nations championships, transporting the focal point of the sport from Europe to the U.S.
I always had a feeling that motocross was a sport that fit the American mentality, and took the place of the horse a little bit, you know, like, at least in my mind, Western movies were really big. The freedom, the outdoors, a lot of room. I saw that it had big potential here.
Roger DeCoster and Ryan Dungey are among those who live according to their dreams. Dungey rejoined his mentor in the fall of 2011 and gave KTM their first 4 Supercross wins in the spring of 2012.
Ryan Dungey crosses the finish line, clenching his fist.
Although their championship hopes disappeared when Dungey broke his collarbone, they entered the 2012 outdoor season as the clear favorite for the title.
For a rider, he takes a lot of trust. He decided to go with a brand that had never won. He is at the peak of his career. I really appreciate that trust he put in us.
There's no doubt it's going to be hard, and everybody knows it, but if there's a team or a group of people that can do this, I think we got it.
Ryan Dungey currently lives and trains in Florida, with his father Troy serving as his practice bike mechanic. Ryan's mother Michelle lives in the family home in Belle Plaine, Minnesota, trying to keep a stable base for Ryan's younger brother Blake. The most consistent family gathering is the weekend races.
I miss Michelle. I miss coming home. If it wasn't for Ryan, I wouldn't be down there. I'm there for him until he don't want me no more unless he slacks down. When it becomes about a paycheck and he's just out there screwing around and I see that, that's when I come back home and he can hire somebody else.
My daddy always scared me, you know, so I never really got out of line. They would do anything for us, and if that meant just going in debt so far, they were there. I turned pro, and I remember thinking, I started this with them, and I'd be damned if I ain't gonna end it with them.
When 2012 Supercross champion Ryan Villopoto was injured late in the Supercross season, many expected Ryan Dungey to dominate the outdoors. But 12 days before Hangtown, the conversation shifted when James Stewart announced he'd be racing on a Suzuki. Stewart hasn't raced the outdoors in 3 years, but the last time he did, he won 24 out of 24 motos, only the second rider in history to do so. He marked his return at Hangtown with practice lap times that were 3 seconds faster than Dungey's.
James, #1.
With a 2 flat?
No, with a 159.4.
It's clear that Ryan is a warrior. You know, he worries.
In the corners, he wants to go down and then stand up.
When I started working back with him at the beginning of the year, he got more that way than he was when we parted at the end of 2010.
Dungey arguably lost the 2011 Supercross and Outdoor Championships due to bike failures. His worst finishes of the year occurred when his chain broke, his bike ran out of gas, and his bike showed up to the starting line a minute after the gate dropped. In the mind of a racer, the most difficult thing to overcome may be the knowledge that you can nearly do everything right and still lose.
Wow, out of turn #1 they come.
Michael Lessie, Ryan Dungey, and James Stewart. Dungey goes to the outside. Does he get the pass, man? No. And James Stewart is right there.
Here comes Stewart. Stewart railed the outside. Stewart goes by Dungey. And now he's neck and neck with Alessi.
He gets the pass made.
Dungey now goes to the inside of Alessi. Dungey goes into the #2 ride. Here comes the #5. Dungey says it's go time. He is all over the rear wheel of James Stewart.
Oh, and Stewart gets sideways. And Ryan Dungey trapped behind. Oh, and they hold him up in the corner.
Dungey is not having a good day as he comes through these lap riders.
That opened up about a 4-second cushion.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for the #5.
Criticism of Dungey's aggression represents an opposing school of thought as to why he lost the championship last year. In 2011, he finished in second place 15 times in the outdoors, and his performance at Hangtown coming through lapped riders only restarted the conversation.
I laugh when all these other people go, oh, you know, he's not aggressive enough, he's not this, he's not that. If anybody actually seen him get mad, oh my God. I hope nobody experiences that because he could level the world. He has a terrible temper, but he never shows it. It's part of what he does. He's full-blown control.
With a population around 7,000, Ryan Dungey's hometown of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, could be viewed as a place of limited options and opportunities. Annie's is one of the handful of cafes in town, and it was the traditional breakfast location of the Dungey family when eating out.
We've been in business for 23 years in Belle Plaine. You don't see many professional athletes come out of a smaller town like this.
He was kind of a different eater because he wanted to be on this health kick, so add this or take this out of his omelet, egg whites, no cheese. My niece was a hostess at the time.
His family came in, and his dad always liked to tease him. He was like, oh, Ryan, this is the one you wanted to see. I just flew it off. I was like, whatever.
I don't know how many times they're coming in. He finally asked her on a date.
Ryan comes up to pay, and he's kind of awkward, like, doesn't really say much. And I was like, all right, see ya. He leaves. And it was probably 5 minutes later, the work phone rings. He asked me to hang out that night, and we went to Chipotle for our first date, and it's all history from there.
I do need a girl who's gonna support me. You're always trying to be better and you're always stressed out. And sometimes you just need to go to a helping person. Like I can go to Lindsay and her mind's clear.
Among Dungey's main stresses going into round 2 in Texas are the resurgent James Stewart, who convincingly won both motos at round 1, and his brand new KTM machine. Dungey's bike ran out of gas at Texas last year, and his new machine has never endured the stresses of the American outdoors.
A brand that's built in Europe coming here, they don't realize the heat issue with the bike. We were full throttle trying to reduce the heat in our bike.
Intense heat and humidity make Freestone Raceway one of the most grueling tracks in the series, and Dungey is known to have the best fitness in the sport. Stewart, on the other hand, has not completed an outdoor series in 3 years, making Texas the first major test of his fitness.
That Texas race, James, like normal, quickly got to the front. Ryan made his way up there, and then they started the battle.
Dungey pounding on him, knocking on him.
Stewart out of control, almost lost him.
That's the type of pressure. Dungey again.
He's all over James now. He looks like he wants to get by in a hurry.
Dungey works the outside. James Stewart, shoulder to shoulder. Dungey goes to the inside. That's not going to be where the pass happens.
Let me tell you, the roost from a 450 is so painful. If someone throws a rock at you as hard as they can, that's what it's like, non-stop.
Here they come. Can Dungey make a run? Dungey pulls up alongside Stewart. Here comes the checkers. It's going to be James Stewart.
Sometimes he looks at his competitors and doesn't see himself as right there with them. I would say there's a little insecurity. I find him doubting himself, and I just told him, I said, you should see yourself how everyone else sees you and have a little more confidence.
After that, I was like, geez, like she's telling me this? She kind of lets me do my training. She doesn't question me. And all of a sudden, the one thing that she says about racing, like, wow, she really pays attention. Like, she can really read me.
After Texas, Stewart had beaten Dungey in 4 straight motos. At both the first 2 nationals, the day began with Stewart putting down qualifying lap times that were at least 2 seconds faster than Dungey's. But at round 3 in Colorado, Stewart's foundation for confidence was taken away.
James went 207, and I was like, oh my gosh, what now? Then Ryan went 207, then James went 205, and I was like, what? And then Ryan went 1/10 off, and then I was like, okay. James knew that when the gate dropped, he needed to get away and quickly. In the back of his mind, there was a concern.
Stewart goes to the inside. Timmy moves to the head of the class.
He did it just now. It is James Stewart. Now to the number 2 position comes Ryan Dungey.
Dungey gets in and out of the corner clean, and now he gets a chance to go after Stewart.
James Stewart goes down.
James Stewart is on the ground, and we have riders all making their way around him.
We are looking at the number 5 of Ryan Dungey.
James Stewart, Timmy, looks a little dinged up. He's pulled to the side of the track to recuperate.
Stewart injured his wrist in the crash and did not finish the moto. Dungey took advantage by dominating the field, taking the overall and passing Stewart in the championship points race.
When you matched the lap time in the second practice, that was the beginning of it.
And all week, I was like, I gotta match it.
When you win, you have to keep your feet on the ground also and not get carried away that it is going to be all automatic. We all know about the possibility of injury in this sport. It takes very little to derail the best program that you could put together.
Coming up next, if Ryan Dungey is to win his 2nd Premier Class title in the outdoors, He will have to labor through the remaining rounds of the 2012 outdoor season.
James coming back, every time we were all nervous.
Many parents of amateur racers move to warmer states for the perceived advantage of riding all year round. Ryan Dungey's riding time was greatly limited by the climate of his hometown, Belle Plaine, Minnesota, and he was not a winner much of his amateur career.
For me, it was just a fun life as a kid. You got to go to school, did other sports, and then afterwards you'd go to my grandparents' house because my mom and dad were working, and I just remember all the good times, you know, like from us going to fairs.
Dungey's grandmother, Barb, was among his strongest supporters. But from the ages of 10 to 15, Ryan watched her lose a painful battle with cancer.
We went to go see her, and of course she was, you know, dead and laying there, and I just remember looking at her like, wow, she's gone, like she's really gone. She was dead, you know? I'm sorry. I think what really changed me as a person was realizing, like, I have to start living life to the fullest, and if I wasn't doing it right, I need to start.
Something flipped a switch in him, and that was kind of it. He worked his hardest. He did everything he needed to do. It was just, from then on, he won.
A month after his grandmother passed away, Dungey won his first amateur title. A year later, he won his first Loretta Lynn's championship. He then bothered Roger DeCoster for a year, until DeCoster gave him an opportunity to race in the pros. Dungey and DeCoster went on to win 4 championships together and are now working on their 5th.
We knew our main competition was going to be Stewart, and I felt that with Ryan's consistency that he has had over his career, that if we were in the hunt the first couple of races, we had a good chance.
Dungey and Team KTM earned their first win of the season at round 3 in Colorado, while his competitor James Stewart scored no points due to a crash suffered in Moto 1. Stewart would show up at 2 of the next 6 nationals, but Dungey would beat him each moto.
James coming back, every time we were all nervous. The one that sticks out in my mind is Redbud. He had been off for a few weeks and I'm sure was well prepared.
And Dungey is pulling away from James Stewart.
James just couldn't get it done. I'm not sure why, but Ryan was definitely better.
After Redbud, James Stewart would not show up for 3 rounds, and Dungey won the overall each time, inching KTM closer to their first Premier Class championship in the United States. At round 10 at Unadilla, Dungey was 85 points ahead of Mike Alessi in the championship. If he could gain 16 points on Alessi by the end of the second moto, he would clinch the championship.
Dungey goes down. He's got to move it up, but he's been passed.
He's dropped all the way back to 10th place at this point. Getting reports that Alessi's got some sort of bike issues out there right now, smoking and pulling off.
Dungey is on the move, 10th to 3rd in just 7 laps, and he is all over the backside of Brock Tickle. Dungey right behind him. That gap has shrunk. It might be the opportunity that Dungey was looking for. It's neck and neck, side by side. Dungey able to shut the door and maybe snap a finger right there. And your winner of Moto #1, gonna go to Ryan Dungey.
With his win in Moto 1 and Mike Alessi's bike failure, a 10th in Moto 2 was all that was required for Dungey to win the national championship.
You're the best guy in the throttle control. Let's do it, buddy.
Although there are no guarantees in motocross, Ryan Dungey is currently the most consistent rider in the sport. In the last 4 years, he has missed only 5 out of 105 races due to injury. In Moto 2 at Unadilla, he moved into the lead at lap 3 and followed his routine.
Ryan lives for the sport. He tries to do everything possible to make his body prepared for the race, and he's getting the benefits of that.
For Ryan Dungey, it was his 3rd Premier Class championship in 3 years. For his team, it was their first in 40 years of racing in the United States. For Roger DeCoster, it took only 2 years for him to win another title after Suzuki let him go in 2010.
The best feeling championship that I have been involved with as a team manager, because from the outside it didn't look so possible. I also wanted to prove a point to the people that couldn't give me an answer where I was before.
He'll tell us, okay, I'm going to take 2 weeks off. And after 5 days, he's already calling Roger, can you speed up that bike? I think I'm going to go back next week. And Roger will tell him, no, Ryan, just stay at home, relax. But he always ends up cutting his 2 or 3 weeks short, always.
He just has had to work so hard for everything that he doesn't want to get cocky. I think he gets nervous that if he would get too confident that things might go wrong. Maybe it's a good thing he doesn't see himself there because it keeps him going.
Still inspired by those who battle cancer, Dungey organized a 60-mile bike race near his childhood home in Minnesota to benefit the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, a place that provides cancer treatment to kids and housing to their parents free of charge.
Over $1.5 million to run St. Jude every day. It's all donations. Seeing my grandma go through what she went through, I want to help.
Ryan feels a broader obligation than just the track. He realizes beyond his years, the opportunity that he has to impact the lives of a larger number of people.
Ryan Dungey will always wonder how he can be a better son, brother, partner, and racer. But if you are satisfied, you will never be able to dream.